AITA for leaving my girlfriend after she got a dog? Hello, I'm 25M, and my girlfriend, 23F, and I have been together for over a year now. We've always had a great relationship. She's funny, kind, thoughtful, and we have so much fun together. But yesterday, something happened that made me question everything. I came home after a long day of work, ready to relax, only to find a golden retriever in our house. At first, I was confused. I assumed it was maybe a friend's dog, but when I asked my girlfriend whose dog it was, she just smiled at me and said, "Ours." At first, I thought she was joking. We had never discussed getting a dog, at least not seriously. I kept asking whose dog it was, thinking there had to be some sort of explanation, but she just kept smiling and saying, "Ours." Then she leaned down to pet the dog and said, "Say hi to Dad," talking to the dog like it was a new member of our family. I felt like I was in a surreal dream. I wasn't sure what to say or how to respond. The whole situation felt so out of the blue that I just froze. I told her she couldn't be serious right now, and she just replied, "Why not?" with the same big smile on her face. Meanwhile, my heart was pounding in my chest, and all I could think about was how much I dislike dogs. I couldn't wrap my head around the fact that she had brought one into our house without even talking to me about it. Let me give you some context. At the very beginning of our relationship, I had made it very clear to her that I don't like dogs. It's not just that I dislike them, I have an actual fear of them. It's not something I talk about much, but it's been with me for as long as I can remember. When I see a dog in public, I automatically create distance between me and it. Even if the dog is on a leash and far away, I find myself walking in the opposite direction. I've never petted a dog in my life, and I've never felt any desire to. It's just how I am. When we first started dating, I told her about my fear. I said that if she ever wanted a pet, it would have to be something like a cat, but definitely not a dog. She seemed to understand at the time, and we never really talked about it again after that. So, when I saw the golden retriever in our home, it felt like my trust had been completely broken. I didn't know what else to do, so I just left. I didn't even say goodbye. I just grabbed my keys and drove to a hotel. I needed space to think. My girlfriend called me several times, but I didn't answer. I couldn't. I was too overwhelmed and needed time to process what had just happened. After a while, she sent me several texts, calling me out for overreacting and saying that my fear of dogs was ridiculous. She said I was being unreasonable and that I should at least try to live with the dog for a while, insisting that the dog and she could help me overcome my fear. But I never asked to overcome it. My fear has never bothered me, and I've managed to live my life perfectly fine without dogs in it. Why would I suddenly want to change? I spent that night at the hotel, ignoring her messages. I just wanted to be alone. My head was spinning, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to be the guy who gives an ultimatum, saying, "It's either me or the dog." I knew she clearly loved dogs, and that was something I couldn't change about her. But at the same time, I couldn't change how I felt either. My fear of dogs is very real, and I wasn't going to magically wake up one day and love them. It felt like we had reached an impasse, and I wasn't sure how to move forward. When I woke up the next morning, I felt a bit clearer, but still conflicted. The idea of breaking up with her weighed heavily on me. We had shared so many amazing moments together over the past year, and she had been nothing but supportive, loving, and fun. But this dog situation was not something I could just brush off. She had brought a dog into our home without even discussing it with me, knowing full well that I had a deep-seated fear of them. It felt like she didn't take my feelings seriously, and I didn't know how to deal with that. As I lay in the hotel bed, I started replaying our relationship in my mind. I thought about how much I cared for her and how happy we had been. But then I thought about the dog again and how I couldn't picture myself living with one, let alone getting over my fear. I started to wonder if we were really compatible in the long run. Maybe this wasn't just about the dog. Maybe it was about something deeper. Could we really build a future together if we couldn't even agree on something as basic as whether or not to have a pet? Later that day, I went back home, hoping to talk things out with her and get some clarity. When I walked in, the dog was still there, wagging its tail and running up to me. I immediately tensed up, instinctively backing away from it. My girlfriend saw me and tried to calm the dog down, but it was clear that she didn't understand the gravity of the situation. We sat down to talk, and I explained to her again how I felt about dogs and how important it was to me that we had discussed this before making any major decisions. She listened, but I could tell she wasn't really hearing me. She said she understood, but she also said she wasn't going to get rid of the dog. She had already fallen in love with it, and she thought I was being unfair for making this a big deal. She argued that I should give the dog a chance, and that maybe, with time, I would get used to it. But that's just it. I didn't want to get used to it. I didn't want to overcome my fear, and I didn't want to live with a dog. In that moment, I realized we were at a crossroads. She wasn't going to change her mind, and I wasn't going to change mine. The more we talked, the more it became clear that we were headed in different directions. I told her I couldn't stay in a relationship where my boundaries and feelings weren't respected. She looked hurt, but I had to be honest. This wasn't just about the dog anymore. It was about the fact that she hadn't considered my feelings before making a huge decision that affected both of us. And so we broke up. It wasn't a dramatic breakup. There was no yelling or slamming doors. It was just the quiet realization that we wanted different things in life, and we couldn't ignore that any longer. She cried a little, and so did I. But in the end, we knew it was the right decision. Now, a few days later, I'm still processing everything. Part of me wonders if I overreacted, but another part of me knows that staying in a relationship where I didn't feel respected would have been worse. It's hard to walk away from someone you love, especially when everything else in the relationship was great. But sometimes, love isn't enough. Sometimes, it's about more than just feelings. It's about values, boundaries, and respect. So, am I the asshole for leaving my girlfriend after she got a dog? Maybe some people will say yes, that I should have been more flexible, or that I overreacted. But I don't regret my decision. I stood by my boundaries, and I did what I felt was right for me. Update. It's been about a month since I left my girlfriend after she got the dog, and I've had a lot of time to think things over. I wanted to share this update to give some closure to the situation and reflect on what's happened since. After we broke up, I moved into a small apartment closer to work. It's been weird adjusting to life without her. I keep expecting to hear her laugh or see her sitting on the couch when I get home. I miss her, but I also know that what happened was a deal breaker for me. I've been going to therapy to help process everything, and my therapist has helped me understand that my fear of dogs isn't something to be ashamed of. It's a real fear, and I have every right to set boundaries about what I'm comfortable with in my home. Surprisingly, I've stayed in touch with my ex. We've had a few conversations since the breakup, and they've been civil. She apologized for not respecting my boundaries and admitted that she hadn't fully thought through how getting a dog would affect me. She said she had gotten swept up in the excitement of adopting the dog and didn't think about the long-term consequences. Hearing her acknowledge that felt validating, but it also made me sad that we hadn't been able to work things out before it came to this. She's still living with the dog, and from what I can tell, she's really happy with it. She even mentioned that having the dog has been a source of comfort for her since the breakup. As much as it stings to hear that she's found something else to focus on, I'm glad she's doing well. At the end of the day, I still care about her and want her to be happy, even if it's without me. I've spent a lot of time reflecting on our relationship, and I realize, now that the dog situation was just the tipping point, there were other signs that we weren't as compatible as I thought we were. For example, she was always much more spontaneous than I was, often making decisions without consulting me, which would sometimes lead to arguments. I've always been more of a planner, and I like knowing what to expect. It's a personality difference, but over time it became a source of tension between us. In hindsight, the dog was symbolic of those deeper issues. It represented the fact that she made a major decision without considering how it would affect me. And while the dog itself was the trigger, it highlighted a pattern of behavior that I had been ignoring for too long. In some ways, I feel a sense of relief now that I'm on my own. I've been focusing on my career, spending more time with friends, and getting back into some hobbies I had neglected. It's been a time of growth for me, and I'm learning more about what I want in a relationship moving forward. To anyone who's been in a similar situation, I want to say this: don't be afraid to stand by your boundaries. It's okay to walk away from a relationship if your needs aren't being met, even if you still love the person. Relationships are about compromise, yes, but they're also about mutual respect. If your partner isn't willing to respect your boundaries, then that's a red flag, no matter how great everything else seems. Thank you to everyone who commented on my original post. Your insights helped me see things more clearly, and I'm grateful for the support. I'm moving forward with my life, and while I'm sad about how things ended, I know it was the right decision for both of us. Before we dive into the comments, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What would you do if your partner brought home a pet you were terrified of without asking you first? Is this an overreaction or a total breach of trust? Let me know in the comments. Don't hold back. And if you've ever been in a similar situation, I want to hear your stories. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on more wild relationship stories like this one. Your support means everything. Well, respecting boundaries matters. NTA. As someone who adores dogs, I can't imagine forcing a partner who is terrified of dogs to live with one. It's not about the dog anymore. It's about the fact that your girlfriend completely disregarded your feelings and boundaries, expecting you to just suck it up. Relationships are about mutual respect, and it feels like she's prioritizing what she wants without caring about how you feel. If someone truly cares about you, they wouldn't force you into a situation that makes you uncomfortable, let alone one that triggers a legitimate fear. The fact that she didn't even consult you beforehand is concerning. It's not just the dog, it's the lack of communication and consideration for your well-being. You have every right to feel hurt and confused by her actions, and I don't blame you for leaving. Decisions about pets should be mutual. It doesn't matter if both partners love dogs or not. Bringing any pet into a shared space is a big decision that should be made together. This situation shows that your girlfriend may not fully understand the concept of partnership, especially when it comes to big decisions like this. You're not asking for something unreasonable, and I don't think giving her an ultimatum is unfair at this point. She forced a situation without talking to you, even though she knew how strongly you felt. This wasn't a small oversight. It's a pretty big deal. You deserve someone who respects your boundaries and communicates openly. Even dog lovers need to communicate. A few years ago, my mom surprised my dad with a dog for his birthday. But here's the thing. They've been together for nearly 50 years, so my mom knew he'd be thrilled. They had long established that they loved pets, so it wasn't a shock. But even then, my husband and I were both stunned by the idea of getting a pet as a surprise without a proper discussion first. It just seems so wild to us. My husband and I have always agreed that we would both need to be involved in the process of choosing a pet, down to the specific dog we bring home. For OP, though, it's even worse because there was no prior agreement. If I were in your shoes, I would definitely consider leaving, even as a dog lover. The trust and communication seem to be the bigger issue here. When a dog becomes a deal breaker, I know someone who did something similar to their partner. They both love dogs, but she went behind his back and got one without him meeting the dog first. The dog ended up hating her boyfriend. Turns out, the people she got the dog from even warned her that it might not do well around men. She ignored them, thinking her boyfriend would be an exception. Long story short, the dog bit him, and they broke up shortly after. Fortunately, there wasn't any permanent damage, but it was a nightmare situation. Bringing in a pet, especially when one partner is hesitant or fearful, needs to be a mutual decision, or it can end in disaster. A major commitment requires mutual agreement. My wife and I have been married for years, and we've discussed getting a dog someday. Even with both of us being on board with the idea, we know that it's a major commitment that requires both of us to be fully involved in the decision. A couple of years ago, we had the opportunity to adopt a dog from an acquaintance who was moving, but we talked it over and decided against it at the time. If a similar situation came up again, I wouldn't dream of just adopting a dog without discussing it with her first. I'd at least give her a call and expect the same from her. Pets are a big responsibility, and both partners need to be on the same page before bringing one into the household. Disregarding boundaries today, tomorrow, and beyond. It's not just about the dog, it's about the blatant disregard for your boundaries and feelings. Imagine if this scenario was about something else. If you told your partner that you're extremely sensitive to spicy foods, and they decided to make dinner loaded with hot sauce and jalapenos anyway. What does that tell you? It's a sign that they will continue to do whatever they want, regardless of how you feel. In relationships, respect for each other's boundaries is crucial. If this disregard continues, it's only going to create more problems down the road. Who wants to be in a relationship with someone who continually disregards what's important to you? At the end of the day, It's not about being inflexible. It's about ensuring you're with someone who values your needs and respects your fears. If your girlfriend can't see that, it's understandable why you'd need to walk away. Asterisk asterisk, disregarding boundaries is a red flag asterisk asterisk. NTA. I'm a huge dog lover, but bringing one home without discussing it with your partner is a massive issue. It's not just about the dog, it's about respecting each other's boundaries and decisions in a relationship. If my partner said they were terrified of dogs, I wouldn't just show up with one. It shows that she expects you to just adapt to what she wants, and that's not fair to you. Asterisk asterisk, mutual decision-making matters, asterisk asterisk. It doesn't matter if you both love animals. Any decision about bringing a pet into the home should be mutual. A pet is a big responsibility, and she clearly didn't take your feelings into account. If she's willing to bring a dog home, knowing you're afraid of them, it shows she's not thinking about the partnership. Saying it's either her or the dog is completely fair here. NTA. Asterisk asterisk, surprise dog for birthday turned out okay, but only because we knew each other well asterisk asterisk. A couple of years ago, my mom surprised my dad with a dog for his birthday. He was over the moon because he's always loved pets. But that worked because they'd been together for over 50 years, and my mom knew without a doubt that my dad would be thrilled. When my husband and I talked about it, we both agreed that springing a pet on your partner without prior discussion would never fly in our relationship. OP, your girlfriend disregarded your feelings entirely. It's a huge red flag, and honestly, I'd walk away too. And I say that as someone who loves dogs. Asterisk asterisk, ignoring warnings about the dog's behavior asterisk asterisk. I had a friend who brought home a dog without telling her boyfriend, even though she was warned by the shelter that the dog had issues with men. She brushed it off, thinking it wouldn't be a problem, and then acted surprised when the dog bit her boyfriend. They broke up, and the whole thing could have been avoided if she had just listened and talked to him first. Ope, it sounds like your girlfriend didn't think this through, and now she's expecting you to just adjust to her decision. Asterisk asterisk, getting a dog is a huge commitment asterisk asterisk. My wife and I have been married for a long time, and we both want a dog. We've discussed it at length and agreed we'd get one when the time was right. Recently, an acquaintance asked if we could take their dog because they were moving, and we had a full conversation about whether it was the right time for us. A pet is a major commitment, and it's something you have to decide on together. Your girlfriend bringing a dog home without any discussion is a serious issue, OP. It's about more than just the dog asterisk asterisk. Right. It's like if someone knows their partner is sensitive to spicy food, but they keep adding hot sauce to everything because that's what asterisk they asterisk want. If your partner dismisses your concerns about something like that, they're likely to keep doing whatever they want in the future without considering your feelings. It's a sign of a bigger problem, and you shouldn't have to put up with that. Asterisk asterisk. Adopting a dog on a whim isn't always fate asterisk asterisk. Yeah, just wait. I did something similar once. We ended up going home with a dog from Walmart. I wasn't expecting it at all. A woman approached us, asking if we knew anyone who could foster her mobility service dog because she was living out of her car and couldn't afford his food. I had my own service dog with me at the time, so she must have thought we'd be good candidates. I looked over at my boyfriend, and he caved immediately, and suddenly we were going home with her dog. She never came back to reclaim him, but honestly, he's been the best boy ever. Funny how life throws things at you like that. Asterisk asterisk, pets can take over your life. Literally asterisk asterisk. Back when we had 2 dogs and 3 cats, now we're down to 1 dog and 3 cats. I used to joke that I worked just to pay off our vet bills. One of our dogs was constantly in and out of the vet, always needing some sort of care. We went to the ER vet so often that we joked about getting a free toaster after one more visit. Our regular vet had nicknamed her Dog with 9 Lives and Multi-Million-Dollar Dog because of how often we had to bring her in. Sometimes, pets really do become your full-time job. Asterisk asterisk. Your pet is probably paying off your vet's mortgage asterisk asterisk. Your dog must have been like a sugar puppy for your vet. They're probably driving around in a brand new Lexus, all thanks to you. How's boat payment, spot, feeling these days? Asterisk asterisk, thank God for pet insurance asterisk asterisk. I've got one of those dogs too, the kind that keeps you up at night, not because they're barking, but because you're worried about how you'll afford the next vet bill. We've been through so many trips to specialists, but thanks to pet insurance, we've managed to keep him alive without going broke. Pet insurance was the smartest decision we made the day we brought him home. Asterisk asterisk. Disregarding boundaries in relationships never ends well, asterisk asterisk. There's a saying that always blows my mind. It's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission. That kind of thinking drives me nuts. It's the mindset of someone who prioritizes what asterisk they asterisk want without considering how it affects others. Honestly, if you're using that kind of logic in a relationship, you're heading for disaster. Asterisk asterisk. Sometimes forgiveness never comes asterisk asterisk. Yeah, forgiveness is great when it happens. But when you make a unilateral decision, like bringing home a dog, you better be ready for the fallout if your partner doesn't forgive you. You might find yourself sleeping in that bed alone. Asterisk asterisk. The ask for forgiveness mindset is selfish asterisk asterisk. I can't stand that saying either. People who use it are basically saying, I don't care about your feelings. I'll do what I want, and you can deal with the consequences. It's a giant, flashing neon sign saying, I'm selfish. Asterisk asterisk. It might work at a job, but not in a relationship asterisk asterisk. That mentality might work in certain jobs, like when you're dealing with something trivial or something that you can smooth over later. But in a relationship? No way. When you disregard your partner's boundaries, it's a recipe for long-term resentment and mistrust. Asterisk asterisk, pick your battles, but not this one asterisk asterisk. Exactly. The ask for forgiveness strategy might work for smaller, petty things where the consequences are minor. But bringing home a dog when your partner has explicitly told you they don't like dogs? That's not something you can just brush off. Asterisk asterisk. There are some exceptions to the rule asterisk asterisk. Sure, in some cases it might work, like when you're dealing with minor authority figures or navigating bureaucratic nonsense. Sometimes you can get away with doing something because the person in charge doesn't really care or can't officially give you permission. But breaking major boundaries with your partner? Not worth the risk. Asterisk asterisk, unilateral decisions never end well asterisk asterisk. This reminds me of a video I saw about a woman who loved collecting foster children. She thought it would be hilarious to film her husband's reaction when he came home from work and found out she'd taken in another foster child without consulting him. Pets, children, they take up so much time and money. Bringing one home should asterisk never asterisk be a unilateral decision.